Welcome to another episode of Candid Moments. Today's episode is very dear to my heart. I think of today's guest. When I think of today's guest, I'm reminded of leadership and impact, as well as the theme, taking care of business. He is the past district director of District 27 of Toastmasters International, and all the way from Falls Church, Virginia, in the United States. Please help me welcome to the microphone, Mr. Ralph Jones. Hi, Ralph.
Greetings and salutations, everybody.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm taking a break from work, from teleworking, working from home. And so when you asked me to do this, of course, I said, sure. And in fact, it kind of helps me out today. We have to go in the office one day a week. And so this day was my day to go in the office. So I basically sent a message to my boss, say, hey, listen, I got to do this thing for Toastmasters for a friend of mine. So it keeps me from having to go into the office today. Thank you very much, Candace. I owe you one.
Oh, you are welcome. Thank you. I owe you one. And you can't put a price on time. And
Yes.
That's definitely one of my love languages is quality time. So I'm certainly grateful for spending time with you today.
Yeah, a good friend of mine has a statement that I have copied. And she says, time is a statement of value. And you can tell a lot about people by what they value. And so time is one of those things that I think is very, very important. Time, effort, resources. It's very important to everybody. So I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to the dialogue.
It's been 8 years since we've seen each other in person. 8 years, because you gave me that plaque right there.
Right, exactly. I remember.
Yeah, and it says May 3rd, 2014.
Right. Yeah, I remember it vividly. I remember it like it was yesterday.
So this is how I'd like to start. Can you please tell me 3 things that you were grateful for today?
That I woke up on this side of the earth this morning.
Yep.
That I am, but really and truly, I think the 3 things: I'm lucky, blessed, and highly favored. I've been through a lot in life. A lot of people have. Everybody has their own story to tell about how they got to this point in life. And I'm just lucky, blessed, and highly favored that I'm still around, that I still have an opportunity to serve people, to try to do good things for myself, do things for others. So that's about it. I'm just lucky, blessed, and highly favored.
That's beautiful. I'm grateful for. I'm learning a lot right now. I'm definitely grateful for these lessons that life continues to teach me. But I keep going through certain situations that are similar, and I'm the common denominator. I need to see the pattern. Maybe counseling would help. I'm not at a point of self-awareness yet, but I think I'm on my journey, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning, another day of life. I'm grateful for my vision, my hair, my brain health.
I'm grateful for my hair too.
I'm grateful for your humor, and I'm grateful for this interview.
What hair I have left, I have to shave it. I shave it once a week, do a little touch up during the week. But when I was in high school, I had the big afro working like a lot of guys do. And what's so interesting now, I see all these people walking around with either the big afros or the braids, plaits in their hair. And I said, I did that when I was in high school almost 50 years ago. It's nothing new. We did it 50 years ago. And really and truly, you shouldn't do it because it causes your hair to fall out. So they have something, everybody's gonna be looking at like me in a few years.
Oh, wow. So
I
bet you're grateful for the fact that you used to do your hair.
Yeah, I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. And like I said, a friend of mine taught me something. She says, if you do that, your hair is going to fall out. And it does. So your hair falls out. So because it pulls on the roots and everything. So you shouldn't do it.
I never even thought about that. I got one cornrow done on like a tropical trip, and it was really itchy. It hurt me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the forehead to do cornrows. It just doesn't look good. So are
Right.
you, I want to know if you are still a member of Toastmasters.
Oh yeah, I've been since January '89. I've never missed a scheduled payment in all that 33 years. I joined January of 1989, and I've been doing it since. I've done the district leadership thing. So when you're in district leadership, you end up being a part of a lot of clubs. So I'm trying to cut back a little bit because time is a statement of value, and I'm trying, like I mentioned before, and I'm an old man now, so I can't do all the stuff I used to do. So, but I'm still a member, and hope to stay a member until forever. I have no reason to stop. Even if something were to come up, I would still try to stay a member.
That's amazing. But obviously, that comes from so much passion.
Well, the organization has been very good to me, both personally and professionally. I would not have advanced in my career, my professional life without Toastmasters. Personally, I met you. I met a lot of really great people in the organization that have set me up for success. So, I'm a strong believer in paying it back and passing it on. And so I think I've been able to help some people in the process just by being what I've learned through Toastmasters, either from the leadership side, communication side, networking, organization, just those little things in life that the organization teaches you.
That's fantastic. The reason why I reached out to you, I was because of a conversation with a friend the other day, but your name often comes up in conversation. So it comes, no, it's so positive. You're helping change the world and you don't even know it. That's why I needed to reach out to you.
Okay.
Because when I met you late at night in the conference center at the International Convention in 2013 in Cincinnati, Ohio,
right.
We sat down and you asked me, what does TMI stand for? And I said, well, obviously Toastmasters International. Most other people that are not Toastmasters would say too much information.
Right.
But Toastmasters International. And you said wrong. You said touch, move, inspire. As a Toastmaster, it is your duty to touch, move, and inspire the hearts and the lives of the people in your audience.
Exactly. So, and I believe in that. I think you can learn something from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's not what you can do for somebody, either monetarily or anything like that. You can just, change a life in some way, shape, or form. I'm a strong believer in it, and you're not going to hit on everybody. You're not going to be able to change everybody's life, but if you just do something that may be seen as insignificant to the rest of the world, but if it hits one person in a certain way, to me, that's a positive. And I think you should try to do something for somebody every day, just to help move them along, whatever it takes.
That is great. I love that. And I even told the girls that work at the Starbucks down the road, and I told them one day about the touch, move, and inspire. And the girl was so inspired. She said, I'm going to use that. I'm going to tell all my coworkers that their duty as a barista in the customer service industry is to touch, move, and inspire every customer that comes in here. And I said, okay, well, that was my job completed for today.
I'm sure the same in the US as it is in Canada. I'm sure that everybody's going through something, either personally or professionally, that they're having to deal with. I don't care how rich or poor, race, color, creed, sex, national origin, whatever. Everybody's going through something that they're having to deal with. And they just need maybe just a little twinge of motivation to touch their lives and inspire them to do something really great or to change their outlook on something. So yeah, touch, move, and inspire is a very important thing that you need to be able to do.
when did you start thinking about the TMI, the touch, move, and inspire? When did that come to you?
Well,
Feels like a pivotal moment.
well, as you know, I'm a military person. I was in the United States Air Force for almost 29 years. So we in the military, I'm sure the Canadian military is the same way. You're into acronym metaphors and the phonetic alphabet. So I know so many acronyms. And so I'm sort of heard about it. So I saw the TMI from being in the organization at that time. I think they use just TI now, but at the time, TMI for many, many years. And I just kind of equated it to touch, move, and inspire, because that's what you try to do in your presentations. That's what you try to do from a leadership perspective. You name it, touch, move, and inspire. So I can't remember the exact date it started. It had to be over 20 years ago, but I do, just the acronym came to mind, and I equated it to touch, move, and inspire.
I love that. And you're helping change the world, Ralph, and you don't even know it, because in my little corner of the world, I use that everywhere I go. And I tell people it was the man named Ralph Jones who taught me that. And, that stays with me.
You're going to make me cry. You can make me well up here in a second.
Lots of people don't know, but when I met you, you asked me what I was doing the following May.
Yeah, I remember.
And I said, well, my schedule is pretty open. I was running my speaking business, but I'm very, it's a small business. Mm. And you asked me to speak at your district conference in Crystal City, Washington, right. Virginia.
Right.
And I said, yes, I jumped right on that opportunity because I had told you part of my story and you thought, wow, that's really inspiring. And I was still crafting the message. Mm. And that was one of my biggest audiences, one of them. Because I had never done a keynote at a conference. And it was, wow, I have a speaking journal somewhere over there, and it's over 200 speaker entries. But one of them was at that conference, and people, the sense of accomplishment that you get from giving a keynote that touched, moved, and inspired one person or 613 people in the audience. Doesn't matter. But if, you were the one who allowed me to have that impact on these people. So you gave me a break.
Well, I'm a strong believer. I know in my life, I've gotten a lot of breaks. I've gotten some really great breaks. I've backed into so many great situations in my life, both personally and professionally. And one thing that when I was in the military, I had to go through a continuing education, professional development course, training. And they talked about setting people up for success. And that's what you're supposed to do as a leader, is set people up for success. And at that moment, at that time, I knew I was going to be in this position. And I just said, okay, well, here's an opportunity. I know I needed a speaker for the conference. And I said, why not? And you have I believe everybody has a story to tell. And I heard that night, I heard your story. And I'm like, wow, she could really touch, move, and inspire our members and our audience if we get her for the conference. And it worked out perfectly. Everything meshed together. It was the conference was a success. You did a great job. And I still have your book and everything. So you have a story to tell.
Did you get to read it?
I already knew the story, so I didn't need to read the book. I already knew your story.
Right.
So why did I need to? But no, I have it still. But I'm a strong believer that your story. In fact, I think I had more than one copy somehow, and I gave it out to other people for them to read. Yes.
Oh, nice.
So I shared your story with a lot of people. But since I knew you, since I just keep it in my library here, but I've shared it with a lot of people. So a lot of people know your story.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
And I'm going to tell you something else that you may not know. the people who were working on the conference with me, who kind of like ushered you and got you where you needed to be, they came back to me and they said, Ralph, she was so appreciative of what we did for her, what you did for her. It was just like you were just radiant, stunning, based on having that opportunity. And again, it feels good to play a role, maybe a minor role initially, to set you up for success. So I'm happy about it. So I'm glad everything worked out, and I'm glad you're doing well. And it's great to see you, achieving, and that's wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm welling up here.
Oh, me too. I feel that's why I need to make reference to that, because since I had seen you last, I got this. So grateful. I'm so gratitude lives in my heart, but I needed to put that there. My mom was telling me this morning that she wants to get a tattoo that says, "I am grateful for ... And it's karma. It comes back to us. I'm so grateful. It's karma. It comes back to you.
Yeah, when I was about 20 years old, I think, if I may tell the story, I think what changed me was I saw a program on television. It was like a Sunday morning. It was a program that came on television by the Episcopal Church. And it talked about, the name of the program was Insight. And they had a guy on there who just came across as the world's nicest guy. He was kind of like an elderly man, but he had a son who was kind of like a businessman who would try to mess people over all the time. And the object of the story was how this elderly man changed his son, or tried to change his son's outlook on life. And that kind of like hit me. Now I'd like to tell people I'm the world's nicest guy till I'm not, but I try to be the world's nicest guy. There's an old saying that nice guys finish last, but they get more chances to finish. And that's what I try to be. You can't be nice to everybody. There are still some jerks in this world, but I do try to be nice to people because it's just the way. Some people just need someone to be nice to them, do something for them, and I'm of that ilk.
I love that. That makes you such a great person, Ralph. You're one of the good ones. You're a good breed.
I try. Tim Keck, who's a past international president of Toastmasters, said it best once. He says, "You either grow or you die," and I'm a strong believer in that. You got to keep growing. I'm on the back nine of life, just trying to make it to the clubhouse now, and I'm just trying to grow every day. And try to make sure every tomorrow is better than today. And that's when I'm still on that journey. And I think everybody needs to be on that journey.
I totally agree with you. It's all about growth. I've recently changed my routine, and I'm focused on like a fitness goal, but I have a lot to work on though, professionally, personally.
Well, we all do, but it's not about growth per se, it's about development. And when I say that, in business, you have business development. When you do a speech, you have speech development. And I think you have personal development. And I think where everybody needs to keep on developing, because I think until you get to the very end, your picture is not really in focus. That's why you got to wait for it to develop. And you got to develop your own picture, per se.
Right.
You got to develop and keep on, because it's a never-ending struggle. The struggle is real. To develop yourself and develop others. Yeah.
I saw a quote yesterday, and it was about not necessarily like not looking back at the past, not looking to the future. Yes, looking at the future, but seeing the picture and living for the moment. Oh, I forget what it was.
Well, if you remember, just send it to me. Okay, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. There's so much to learn. Yeah. So are you in the retirement stages of life?
Not yet. I'm still working. I'm a federal employee now. I did 29 years on active duty military. Then I did about 6 years as a federal contractor, as they call it in the Washington, D.C. area, Beltway Bandit. And then I got picked up as a federal employee about 12 years ago 11 years ago today, and come to think of it. And so I can get a civil service federal retirement. Now I'm eligible for it, but with all the stuff going on in the world, I just feel a little bit uneasy about retiring, even though I really want to. I'm going to try to stay on as long as I can. The job has its challenges, but I like what I do. And while my health allows me to continue to work, I want to try to stay on as long as I can, because yeah, I could probably make more money retired than I could working. But, I have my neighbors, a lot of them are retired, and, you got to have something to do. You got to have a reason to wake up in the morning and believe and all that type of good stuff. So I'm still on a mission, and it doesn't really cost me anything to work. So I'll keep on doing it until I can't take it anymore. The plan was last year to retire, but I think I'm going to try to stay at least one more, maybe 2 more years to see how things work out.
Hey, I remember you writing that in one of your Christmas cards that you were approaching retirement. I keep all of your cards that you send me on all the letters. It's nice that we can stay in touch. It's so nice. I love that.
I appreciate that very much. I started doing those Christmas letters in the 90s, and just because I was getting them from people, I said, okay, well, I think I've gotten a lot better at it. I've got it down to 1 page now. I used to do a 4-page letter, and people probably thought I was crazy, but I would do it by month sequentially. But now I just keep it down, keep it simple, just the facts, and keep it a lot more
to the point.
To the point. A teacher of mine, when I was in school, said something about book reports. It says a book report should be long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to be kept interesting. And so that's how I try to do the Christmas letter now. Just keep it long enough to cover the subject, 1 page, and short enough to keep it interesting. And that's how I kind of try to do it. And I think that's how you do a speech. That's how you do life. That's how you do a reading. That's how you do everything in life. It should be short enough to cover the subject, but short enough to be kept long enough to be kept interesting. Long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to be kept interesting. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Keep your readers wanting more.
Exactly.
But satisfied at the same time.
Exactly.
I like that. That's a great way to incorporate it.
Okay. Any other questions that you have on me? My life is an open book.
Yeah, it seems like it. Tell me more about what's the most impactful in your Toastmaster journey, how it's affected you in the way that you communicate and you lead.
Okay, 2 things that I like to talk about. I hope I remember them both. I believe it or not, I'm a very shy individual, naturally shy individual. And so coming up from the time I was in school to when I became an adult, I always was in the background. I never wanted to be out in front. I just wanted to do what was necessary. I didn't need to be highlighted or praised or anything like that. And I think it kind of cost me a little bit in some ways, shapes, and forms. I never really wanted to be, I saw a lot of people who were very, very aggressive, and I didn't like that. So what Toastmasters taught me was how to be assertive without being aggressive. And I think there was a difference between the two. So I think it's very important for everybody, and I mean everybody from everywhere, to be assertive, because you got to assert yourself, but you don't have to be aggressive. And that's what Toastmasters taught me. The second thing is, of course, confidence. Again, when I was growing up, it wasn't, I lost my dad when I was 9 years old. I lived in I did not know we were poor, but we were, especially after my dad died. I thought we had a great life until he passed away. And one of the things that I learned, it was a lot of pressures, peer pressures, to get involved and do a lot of stuff. And I listened to some people maybe I shouldn't have listened to. But one thing I learned was I lacked confidence, especially when I got out of high school. Toastmasters taught me that training plus experience equals confidence. I repeat, training plus experience equals confidence. And with confidence, you can do anything in this world you want to do. And I'm a strong believer in that. Confidence is the key to everything. Confidence, and the other thing is practice. I always tell the story when I have what I call in one of my stump speeches. Half the lawyers and half the doctors in our country finished in the bottom half of their class. And so when they graduate law school or medical school, all they're given is a license to practice. But really in life, that's all we're given. We get an opportunity to practice life that we have to do every day. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And so you got to practice life. There's going to be days when everything just flows perfectly. And you're also going to have days that it just doesn't. Nothing works. You have to deal with maybe some ignorant person who doesn't understand a situation, or you may have to come across some type of impediment or difficulty. You got to learn how to deal with it and just practice life. Okay, find out what works. What can I do better? There's always room for growth, always room for development, always ways to do things more faster, better, and cheaper. So you got to keep practicing life.
I love that. That's fantastic. Speaking of practice and communication, the way we deal with people, I learn more and more about what communication really means every single day. And life is teaching me. I have some knowledge of communication, but I'm still learning as I'm practicing. When we meet people who don't view not just the world or life, but how we communicate. When we meet people who communicate differently than we do, and they're not on the same page, how do you deal with those people, especially like in your work or Toastmasters or in personal life?
I think everybody communicates differently. That's an unfortunate thing. There's variety in communication. Some people are motivated by symbols. Some people are motivated by words. Some people are motivated by actions. You just got to find out what makes people tick. Everybody's different. You never know who you're doing with. I've dealt with people who I know when I used to be the hiring authority for a job, I would try to find out why that person wanted to come to that position, why they wanted to be in that position first. Okay. Then you try to find out, okay, once I got them there, I found out some of them had motivations or reasons, and I should have known this before, but they maybe came into the job for the wrong reason. They were looking to be for the location, or maybe thinking the job was going to be quite easy or whatever. So sometimes I would have to sit down and have what I call a come to Jesus meeting with them and just say, hey, listen, this is your behavior. This is how your behavior not only affects me, but also affects the organization. And this is how I personally feel about it. I said, the path you're going on is not working. Recommend these changes. And I was surprised. It was a little bit scary when you start seeing the performance and the behavior change to the point where they became valued members of the organization. And then 5, 10, 15 years later, you really see these people evolving and growing and really doing some really great and wonderful things. And it makes you feel great inside. It makes you feel proud. You say, listen, I'm doing something right. So you got to find out, sit down and have that heart-to-heart discussion with people to find out where they're at and then find out where you want to be. I heard it the other day as a speaker. One of the things that you should try to do is meet people where they are. We try too much with our audiences to have them come to where we are. No, we have to meet people where they are and then get them to a different point. That's what we need to do.
That is a very powerful statement. And you're right. How can you expect other people to meet you where you are? meet them where they are. I like that.
And then use your words and your stuff to get them where you need them to be. Yeah. I'm a strong believer in that.
Is that the approach you take when you take the stage?
It is now. I was probably doing it before, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
But now I know what it is. And one of the things that's happened, Candace, is I think the most proud thing I am in life right now, and I've achieved some accomplishments. Let's just say that. You know what they say about self-praise. I don't want to get involved in that. But I think the number one thing, and I'm very proud of it, in my tool chest, is I've become a better coach than I am player. Okay. I think I'm a better coach, better mentor than I am playing the game. I think, for instance, we have the speech contest stuff that we do in Toastmasters. I entered it this year for District 27, and I didn't win. And I was disappointed I didn't win because I thought I had a good speech. And I thought I was a little bit, they say there's a thin line between hurt, anger, and disappointment. I was disappointed that I didn't win the contest. But at the conference coming up next month, 2 of the contestants are my mentees, people who I'm mentoring. Okay. 2 of them are. And so they are my report card. I say, if I got 2 people in this contest that I'm their mentor, and they look to me and they tell everybody that I'm their mentor, that I'm their speech coach, I mean, that kind of just gets you a little bit. It does.
What a blessing. Yes. Because if one of them win or make it to whichever level, your communication and leadership skills help these people evolve and develop their speech to that level. That's a true testament to your coaching.
Right. They're my report card. Yeah. I try to, I tell them, I'll give you a recommendation on something, but you make a decision. I have what I call a master's degree in ruthless compassion. And if you don't know what ruthless compassion means, it's simply this: I care, but I'm going to tell you what you need to know. And that's what I try to do. If I see something in their speech or in their way to give their speech and their organization, content, and delivery, I tell them what it is, but I make the recommendation. They make the decision whether to include it or not. So I'm a strong believer that's how it should work. As a coach, as a mentor, it's still the ownership of the presentation belongs to the individual speaker, but I'm there to do everything else, be the coach, mentor, cheerleader, things of that nature, motivator. That's what I try to do.
Oh, that's great. Do you, as a coach, do you still have a mentor?
I believe everybody's my mentor. That's one of my strange things. I have some people who have helped me along the way. To mention a few names, a gentleman named George Nigro, who's an accredited speaker. He helped me an awful lot. He's down in Florida now. Mr. Paul White, who's a past district umpty-ump in District 27 and also in Toastmasters International. A lot of people know him. But one thing I try to do is I believe I can learn from everybody. Even if it's something you see in someone who's negative, it's kind of negative. I think I can still learn from that individual. I can watch, see, observe what that individual does and say, maybe I see something like that going on in my life. Maybe I need to make the change. Maybe there's a change based on this individual's behavior or attitude that I can maybe take internally and do some introspection about it and change my life. So I think everybody's my mentor. You're my mentor. Everybody's my mentor. And that's why I try to look at it.
I love that. You're a mentor of mine too. I see that. I'm
just a poor old country boy,
I'm just a small town. I'm just a valley girl.
Yeah. I'm just a poor old country boy. Yeah.
It's interesting how much we can learn and grow and self-develop over the course of our entire lifetime. We're not necessarily the person we were last year.
No, we're not.
Or 3 months ago.
I
hope not. Anyways, you hope that there's a continual process of growth.
I was telling someone the other day that up until 3 years ago, I thought I was a really good guy, but some things happened in my life, and I think it made me a better human being, it made me a better person. I think I'm a much better human being than I was 3 years ago. And everybody said, well, you did a lot of really great things. You do a lot of really great stuff. But I think it kind of like I started honing in to try to really become exceptional, elite in how I do things. Not to be haughty or be proud or anything like that, but I think people need to become elite in what they do and how they do it. I'm a strong believer in that. You can always find a way to do things, again, more effectively and efficiently. And I think individually, I think I've become a lot better person than I was 3 years ago. At least I tried.
Wow. I'm feeling everything you're saying because I can relate. And I'm still just a young little chicken, right? Like I've just hatched, right? I'm 36 and I've learned a lot, but I'm in the deep of it, and I think I'm learning so much more, and there's so much personal growth. And even though those growth pains, what's it called? Growing pains. It's good when you feel that pain because it's teaching you're stretching and you're growing, and there's constant evolution and in the brain. I was reading an article this morning that kind of upset me. It was about chronic pain and brain matter, and I just it was enlightening for me, but I felt like I needed to copy and paste it and send it to my doctor. I don't know where I was going with that. There's still lots I need to learn about myself and how I deal.
Years ago, 2006, I ended up in a hospital. I was pretty sick, and some stuff happened. I don't want to get into the details, but I was sick. Okay. And I was laying there in the hospital room thinking, okay, when I get out of this hospital room, I'm going to try to help people so nobody ends up in this situation like I did. But I hearkened back to something that George Nigro, the gentleman I just mentioned, and credited speaker for Toastmasters International, taught me years ago. He says, whatever happens in your life, there's always a speech there. And with that speech, you can touch, move, and inspire people. That's where that TMI thing came into play. Again, there's always a speech there, no matter what happens in life. The other day, and I'm sure wherever you go in this world, you have to deal with it. But I had a friend of mine in town, and we were coming back from lunch. And so she's in the passenger seat, and I'm driving along. And to make a long story short, there was this, I don't know if he was homeless or not, but he was begging on the street, asking for money. And I didn't think too much of it or him. I don't normally give money to those type of people, but I give a lot to a lot of charities, but I don't like giving because I think they might be scammers. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But anyway, what happened was the individual started walking toward my car, and he made an obscene gesture, which really offended me. And now it becomes a manhood issue. What do I do? It's a manhood issue that I get out of my car and confront this individual. And also what he did was he goes and he bangs on the passenger window where she is. Now I'm really upset. So to get out of my car and challenge this individual, and I don't know what his problem is. I don't know if he's doped up or whatever. He's just looking for somebody to, whatever. We drove off, and I'm upset the rest of the day because it really made me mad. But I got to thinking about it, Candace. And I've become a lot more spiritual and religious over the last 3 years. That's part of my conversion. And I just say, God, I want you to reach out and touch that gentleman. He's got some problems. He's lucky it was me who he did that to, because if it had been some other people who it would have been a really big messy scene that probably would have ended up on Facebook or YouTube or something like that. But I just asked, this individual needs some help before you harm somebody else. does something and someone ends up harming him. And so that's how, again, years ago, I would have wished bad on this individual. I would have wished bad on him because of what he did. My job is to protect the lady I'm with. My job is to, neutralize the situation. But I want this individual to find help and support, and we provided help and support, because right now the gentleman's on the primrose path of destruction, and he's gonna end up being in trouble. So I asked the good Lord, and I prayed about it, just to to reach out and touch this individual, and hope that he can find a better way. He doesn't have to go down this path in life. There is a better way if you go look for it. And so again, that's where the changes come over me and how I look at life. There's a song by Canadian, I think it's Joni Mitchell, who Both Sides Now. If you haven't listened to the lyrics of that song, it's very profound. And it talks about, I look at life from both sides now. Where before in life, I just looked at life from one way, my way. I look at life now from both sides, multiple sides, to really figure out what's going on.
What's the song called?
Both, B-O-T-H, Both Sides Now. It's by Joni Mitchell, and somebody else did it as well. I can't remember the name, but you can get it on YouTube. Just look up both Sides Now, and it's very profound. And I just think everybody in life needs to look at life from both sides, not just, I think one of the problems we have in society nowadays, that everybody looks at life only from their viewpoint, from their way. You got to look at life from the other side as well.
Thank you. Maybe that's what that lesson was from yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other side of that was, and I'm so upset about it.
One thing.
Yeah, I do need to look at both sides of it. So that made you a more compassionate person within the past 3 years.
Yes, exactly. One of the things that people talk about is I know in the States, everybody talks about privilege, and I'm privileged. Yeah, I've had some pain inflicted upon me, and I've had some self-inflicted pain, but I'm privileged. I have a nice house. I have a nice car. I have a good job. I have great friends. I've grown and try to grow every day. I've seen the light. Like Martin Luther King said, I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen the other side. Like the song, Both Sides Now. I see life from both sides now. And it's a privilege to have that opportunity. A lot of people have not had that in their lives. They have not had that privilege. If I may use your example, you went through a terrible situation. However, by going through that terrible situation, going back to the beginning, look at how many people you have touched, moved, and inspired because of what you went through. Everything does indeed happen for a reason.
Yes.
And your example has changed a lot of lives for the better. And that you should look upon that as an ultimate success story.
Thank you. And I do. I am a strong believer that everything happens for a reason. And I was telling somebody the other day, and I was in pain while I was telling them that, the soul journey we're on in life, in human form. I don't remember signing up for this journey, but I'm pretty confident that I did.
Right.
And there's a reason why I signed up for this journey, because I can handle it. That's why the universe called me Candace.
Like when that incident happened on the street the other day with that, the first thing out of my mouth, I said, God, why did you put me in this situation? Because I didn't deserve this. I didn't do anything wrong. But there had to be a reason I was there. And because it happened, this individual got an unexpected blessing from me, from a prayer for a blessing. And it changed me as an individual to say, instead of being hostile toward the individual, just hoping the individual finds some type of help and support, some type of solace. And that's how you have to look at things. And now I have that ability, that utility, that competency now to look at life and realizing that, okay, yeah, this thing might be negative, but there's an opportunity, there's maybe a challenge, but also there's an opportunity here to better this world and so better this individual in some way, shape, or form.
Wow, that's a good lesson.
My old boss at work used to talk about that all the time. Stuff would come, yeah, stuff would come up. He said, we have a challenge here, but also we have an opportunity here as well.
There's always opportunity.
Yes.
Whether if it's in the growth or the lesson, there is opportunity there.
There's always an opportunity, yes.
On both sides, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It does come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
You continue to touch, move, and inspire the members in your organization and in your community, Ralph. And I commend you on that and your self-awareness. I know it's a continual journey that we're all on. Yes.
Yes, indeed. It's but you know, I've if I tell one last story.
Yeah, please do.
And this is another thing that kind of like opened my eyes. And I want to tell this story because when I went to high school and I graduated, I didn't like high school too much. You know, I was kind of a misfit and everything in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms. But there were three. Last year we had a high school reunion, and I did not go to it. I went to one high school reunion, and that was enough for me. But in the process of going to the not going to the high school reunion last year, one of the spearheads of it put on Facebook the pictures of all the people that had passed away. And three of the people who had passed away were people who I thought were really, now, and again, I'm 17 years old at the time. I thought were really great people. And even for 17 years, I thought, I consider all three of them very good friends. One of them was in a car accident, died recently after high school. Never got an opportunity to live his life. One went in the hospital for knee surgery, I guess developed some type of blood clot or something happened and died because of the knee surgery. One of them passed away a few years ago. A very nice guy. If you look up the word nice guy or the phrase nice guy in the dictionary on Wikipedia, you see his picture. Jimmy was just a really nice guy, and they have passed on, and I'm still around. I'm like, I have to pinch myself. Why am I still here and these people aren't? And that's why, you know, you still here. If you're still around, you're around for a reason, and you need to find what that reason is, and make it not only for your betterment, but for the world's development and for society's development and growth, and to do some really good things for good people. And I'm a strong believer in that.
Oh, what a great story. Thank you for sharing, Ralph. And that's there's meaning there and purpose. There's a reason that your journey is not Jimmy's journey.
Right.
Jimmy's journey comprised of this. Mm-hmm. This was Jimmy's journey. And he did what Jimmy had to do.
Right.
But Ralph's journey is this, but only Ralph can figure out what his journey is all about.
Yeah, my destiny is one thing, your destiny is something else. And you need to find your own destiny, because that's what your destiny was provided to you and granted to you. You need to find it and fulfill it.
I think I'm much like you. I'm not so much religious, but I'm becoming more spiritual as I'm aging, because I'm just learning and growing and feeling more connected to some soul and spirit and universe. That I understand that, you know, there's so much to know, but I know so little. So maybe that's a good thing, because I haven't completed my purpose yet.
Yeah. That's it. Exactly. And you still got work to do. Candace, you still got work to do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't we all, right?
Yeah.
This it feels like therapy to have these candid moments.
Yeah.
I learned so much about myself and my guest. Thank you for being so open. You open your whole heart to me, and I'm so grateful for that.
Well, Candace, as I like to tell people, I work for you, and it's my job. I think one of the ultimate thing I learned through Toastmasters, in the organization, there's so many people that you cannot say no to. And these people that ask you to do something or ask for help or support, where do I sign? It's my job to help these people out. And when you approach me about doing this, I mean, how could I say no? Of course I'm going to do it. It goes without saying. And I'll rework actually had a rework my schedule to make sure I could accommodate you on this. And I'm glad I was able to do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You didn't even hesitate when you responded to my message. I'm so
Right.
grateful for that.
Right.
That's see, what's the worst answer you can get is a no, but I haven't received a lot of no's lately, and so I'm very grateful for that.
Candace, you're good people. Not too many. Anybody who says no to you, please forgive me, there's something wrong with them.
You're good people. Thank you, Ralph. You're so sweet.
If somebody says no to you, what's wrong with you? You know,
well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I've got some faults there that I need to work on, and I don't know.
But, you know, as long as you know them and nobody else does, that's a good thing. Okay, you should know your faults. Okay, that's cool for you to know them, but not everybody needs to know what your faults are. You know, just keep that internally. That's between you and the man upstairs. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Good advice. You when you said something about being an old man, to me you're not an old man, but you certainly filled with wisdom, sir.
I've learned things. I took a very circuitous route in life, very circuitous route. I had to learn some things the hard way, but I can't complain. And if you do complain, you need to snap out of it and realize I shouldn't be here right now. I've had some near misses in my life. We all have. So the fact that I'm still around is just, I think it's part of my destiny. Just try to do good things for good people.
Absolutely. It's part of your journey.
Right.
Thank you for being part of my journey, Ralph. I'm so blessed to know you. You are such a gem.
It cuts both ways, Candace. It cuts both ways. It's an honor and privilege. I'm glad to see yourself actualizing. And, I'll close with this by saying there's 5 things I learned. And again, this is my life, that people are looking for in life. 1 is fulfillment. Next is abundance. Number 3 is insight. Number 4 is redemption. And number 5 is salvation. And I think if you can find those 5 things in life, or keep seeking those 5 things in life, you'll be okay. And I think when I look at you, that's what you're doing. You've found fulfillment. You have abundance. You're doing well. You're probably, like I know myself and you and hopefully everybody watching this, you probably live better than 90% of the people in this world. You should realize that. That's abundance.
Insight, I love that.
Insight, being able to separate the sensational from the significant. Everybody's looking for redemption. We've all messed up, made some mistakes along the way, but we realized what was wrong or what went wrong and what we need to do to improve it. And now we have an opportunity to do so. And that's how the fact that we had that opportunity, to me, is salvation. Okay.
That's beautiful. Oh, thank you for having such a wonderful, candid moment with me today, Ralph.
I work for you.
I work for you. Thank you for being part of my journey.
Okay, all the best to you. If you ever need me again, just let me know. And it's an honor and a privilege.
Thank you. Keep in touch. I'll send you a Christmas card, so look up for it.
All right. Thank you very much. And all the best to not only you, but everybody viewing. Everybody take care.
Thank you so much, Ralph Jones, everybody.